the Block Party, a Minecraft podcast, episode 133. We're your hosts, Bearded Sloth
and Little C.
Get all our info at theblockpartymc.com.
Now let's get the block party started.
Yay!
Woo!
Welcome in, Little C. Welcome in, listeners. Glad y'all could make it back for
Glad y'all could listen.
the 133rd week of us doing this.
I feel like you like this number.
I like 33 a lot. There's a lot of significance around the number 33, but that sounds like an after hours topic. I want to get into Minecraft on here.
Before we get started, I would like to announce that our new YouTube channel is almost ready.
Almost.
We've been talking about this for weeks.
We'll get it. You guys got to get prepared.
It's
You need
still
to get
up.
it subscribed.
Make sure you
and ready
subscribe to it with notifications on. It's almost ready. I would say the branding stuff for the live streams are almost done and ready to go. So all we have to do is make a few videos to put on there for the start.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and record a tutorial tomorrow. I don't know when it'll come out because you'll do the editing for it and everything for me, Little C. But I'll do the basics on mine. I want to do an updated item sorter because I have a better way of doing it for Bedrock now.
Oh boy, I get to edit a Bearded Sloth video. And just to give you an idea of what it's like editing for the big sloth man, he'll send me an hour-long tutorial. Most of it's just him saying, well, if you put the repeater here instead of here, it runs better.
That's a very good impression of me, Little C. Good
But
job.
you don't need all that. We need the tutorial and a little bit of explanation.
Well, I'd love to hear the listeners what they want to see and the viewers, I guess, too. I want to know if they prefer tutorials that explain why you're doing something or if you just want what you need to do and not understand any of it.
We're still going to put explanations. It doesn't need to be as descriptive as you make them because you just need to explain what the block's doing, not the entire history of the block in the Roman Empire.
No, I want everybody to have all details. All right, before we get off on a rant here, Little C, we've got several comments from the listeners this week. I'm so proud of you, listeners. Thank you guys for supporting us. That is the best way you can support us, is by commenting every week.
Our first comment comes from Ripley again. Me and my friends are making a PvP realm to get better at combat.
And I think he's replying. I kind of put a message out kind of to motivate you all to get your comments in. And this came in late last week. Didn't make it quite for the show. I think I just asked what you're up to in Minecraft.
Yeah.
So you're making a PvP realm just to get better at combat. That's a great way to do that.
Yeah,
with
have
your
a
friends and
separate
stuff.
realm from like if you have like a main realm where you all play together. Either make a separate area within the world or make a whole separate realm where you can just like kind of PvP or maybe even a creative one where you go into survival to just practice PvP.
I wish I had friends when I was a kid. I used to play games kind of like this, and I'd end up having to just make a 2-player, and the second player wouldn't do anything, and I just have to play all alone and learn all the moves and stuff on a fighting game I used to play way back in the day. I was probably like 7 or 8 kind of thing, and I used to do that all by myself. I never had friends, though. So it's good that you have friends for your realm. That is awesome, Ripley, again.
That was a long way to go to say that.
That's me over-explaining again, just like my tutorials. All right, thank you for that comment, Ripley, again. Next one comes from Kangamar. I just installed the new Naturalist add-on for Bedrock. It adds over 100 animals to Minecraft. It costs about $10, but the animal design and animations are better than the free one I previously told you about. So I removed the old one. It includes a book with lots of info and tips. Well worth the money to add some nice variety to your single player or multiplayer world.
So I don't know if this is every add-on pack on the marketplace. From all the ones I've seen on YouTube and stuff, they all have a little book you get in your hotbar when you install it that tells you about it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone has that, but everyone I've seen so far, just like you said, that's what I've seen with it. I know I watched somebody on this one. I think it might have been Echo that I was watching, and he was kind of going through it. He had a tough time trying to find the animal he was trying to look up because they're not in alphabetical order. But other than that, it looked amazing. And I'm sure that they're polished a lot better than some of the free add-ons you get out there. There's a lot of junk out there for Bedrock Edition, especially, and probably Java Edition, honestly.
I'm wondering if they, in this add-on pack, if they change spawning rates or how spawning works overall. Because having 100 animals, you're never going to see half of those if you're just on default Minecraft spawning.
Yeah, I'd really want to dig deep into the coding on that.
I don't think you can access any of the backend stuff for Marketplace add-ons, which kind of sucks, but it'll help with protecting, like, for copyright type thing.
Well, exactly. This is $10, right? Or whatever it is, roughly. And so you don't want to be giving it away for free. That's piracy. That's not good. We don't like that. Because you want to support the creators that take the time to do this kind of stuff, right? And if they're offering something and $10 seems worthwhile, if it's something you really enjoy, it's probably like having a whole new game almost. But that's awesome, Kangamar. I'm glad to hear that you changed it over and this works as a replacement for your free one you were telling us about. That one was cool too.
Now I hope to hear the weekly updates of what animals you've run into.
Yeah, that would be interesting to hear. I know there's a lot of them though.
Our next comment comes from IRL nickname. Yes, doggo armor. I love the trims and stuff, and if you want to learn about armor trims and stuff, I highly recommend the RecRap 2 video on it. He collects every single possible piece of armor in the game, and it's insane. It's a 3-part series he compiled into one movie that you can find. It's a little over an hour long. And yes, I'm so happy about hardcore mode coming to Bedrock. Still waiting for, I don't know, like usable inventory management, decent.
All right, so originally he put navigatable, but that's not a word. So I changed it to navigable.
Which navigable does not sound like a word. It's
how about a UI that's a decent UI to navigate?
There we go. That's much better for my small brain. Not having a cooldown for interactions like placing blocks or picking up water buckets. Oh, well, it's a step, I guess. I don't get the usable inventory management. Bedrock, there's a few things like if you shift click while holding 1 on Java, it'll go to your first slot. And you can't do that on Bedrock. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, the rest of them should be working.
And honestly, even on Java, I don't use that. I use it if I'm doing something quickly. But if I'm playing survival, there's not really a need to switch super quickly.
I kind of wonder if this might be a problem with how he has his keys binding too, because everything I know, it's pretty similar. I've switched to Java a couple times, but there's still some of those shortcuts like moving half your inventory or whatever that I'm still learning on keyboard and mouse. I know how to do it on controller.
I don't even, I guess, you use the half. Yeah, all that stuff seems close to the same. There's a few weird things if you hold down an item on Bedrock because of it has to work on mobile. But other than that, it's the same. And with UI, the Java UI looks better, but that's all I can give to it. I think the Bedrock UI has more function easily understandable for someone new into the game. But I think the Java one does look better. I mean, they're about the same.
But his main point here is talking about the dog armor.
Yes,
right?
That's great. And hardcore mode.
I'm loving dog armor. It's coming. They announced big things, and it looks like it will be out before the 1.21. So we don't even have to wait for the full big release.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming in 1.20.80.
I don't think I agree with that decision on Mojang's part to release it earlier. I think that's a mistake.
Well, they kind of do that with...
It takes away from the big update.
Possibly.
I think.
Possibly, but just like they did last time, they might surprise us all of a sudden with some big things. So I'm hoping that they get that worked out and we'll all be happy. None of us were really expecting hardcore mode, by the way.
I mean, we all thought eventually, but they said they're waiting until they fix the death bugs. So we still have a long time to wait, I assume.
But that means they are working on it, and that's a good indication that we're getting closer.
I
am
excited.
I don't think it will be tied to 1.21 either. I think it'll be either before or maybe even after. I think it'll be a secondary update for hardcore mode. I don't think it'll be tied to a big update.
The way they seem now, the hardcore mode things, like, okay, whatever, it's just parity change, which is fine to not be in the big update. But I feel like any features like the dog armor, that was announced at Minecon or Minecraft Live, whatever, and it was the big thing, one of the big things.
Well, that came
And I
with our
don't-
vote, remember?
It came with our vote, but I assume they were just gonna correlate that into the update kind of thing. And
Now, I think they like to get the things we vote on first and get that out there. The armadillos, of course, because that goes with the dog armor. You got to have the armadillos because you got to have the scoots for that to make the dog armor. But the fact that we'll get there, but dyeable dog armor is amazing. And yes, you can take your dog armor back off, by the way.
how do you do it? I couldn't figure it out.
I want to say, I don't think it's crouch. I forget what it is, but it was something fairly simple. It wasn't, shears. You use shears.
Oh,
That's what it
that-
is.
is weird, but it makes sense in the game world. But if you tell someone to shear your dog to take their armor off, it's just weird. But no, that works.
Yeah,
I
so
think-
that's what it's going to be. So you can absolutely re-dye it or add colors or whatever.
I think it's cool too. The dog won't take any damage until all the armor is broke. So if you're in like a combat situation with your dog, if you keep the armadillo scoots like in your hotbar, you can just keep replenishing their armor before they take any damage.
Right. Yeah, you can keep them up. And I remember Kangamar actually on many shows ago was talking about how they had an army of dogs with them all the time. So you're probably going to have these giant armadillo scoop farms and you'll be able to just have this army and keep healing them almost, kind of like a combat game. That could be fun. You have your military of dogs and you keep their health up in a way. That's kind of cool.
Throw a warden into the mix. See what happens. No, that's an unfair. That's unfair.
That's just wrong. Poor doggies.
What's something fair like a bunch of wolves could fight? I don't know.
All right, moving on. Thank you for all that discussion starting comments. That's why we like your comments, listeners. It gets us talking. Next one comes from Advisory Labs. I'm in an eternal state of I want to play Minecraft, but I don't want to play Minecraft. At IRL Nick, how are you still into Bed Wars? Holy cow, that type of focused longevity of interest in one subject amazes me. I'm sure I'll get 3 a.m. motivation to get Jericho's stuff done soon.
I haven't been doing too much Jericho playing in the past week, but that's just because I've been working on the block party stuff and some real life stuff. But I still have the motivation to play Jericho. It looks like a lot of our players are starting to. They got their 3-week Minecraft playing in. It's starting to slow down.
I think we lasted a little longer than other seasons.
But
we are 2
we are
months
gonna
through.
Throw a few events in and hopefully reignite the flame.
Yeah, and it always comes in phases as far as Minecraft in general. I go through that. This week, I didn't play a whole lot. I was tired by the time I drove my truck all day and stuff. But I definitely get those motivations. And just like you said, their Advisory Labs at 3 a.m., sometimes you're just all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to go do that and turn it on and go. At least some of us do that.
I'm not allowed to. Would have a horrible sleep schedule because I will wake up at like 3 a.m. and have the best idea of all ideas ever for something in Minecraft. But then I fall back asleep before I write it down.
Now, I do find it funny that Advisory Labs called IRL Nick out about loving Bed Wars still. And I just
We
have
all
to say,
troll him a lot
I have
about
to
that.
tease him a little bit. When are you going to grow up, IRL? Just saying. Just saying.
I was talking with one of our other friends, and we were like, so what does a Bed Wars player like Pokemon evolve into? What's the next phase of a Bed Wars player? And we decided on Valorant.
There you go.
They'll go
There's-
from Bed Wars to Valorant. And I'm
there-
not sure if that's an improvement or not. I think it's a bit more of an improvement, because at least Valorant has real esports to it. Random thoughts from Little C.
There you go. IRL actually had a response.
Of course he did. He responded, "Oh, I am in that exact state at the moment. Also, I haven't played Jericho in a while, mostly because I haven't had time, and the little time I do have, I often spend playing Sid Meier's Civilization 6 with Little C and our youth group leader. I really need to get on Jericho so I can make a hidden or presentable gold farm and get good gear. We agree. You need to make a presentable, or actually just make a hidden gold farm,
Okay, dude,
please.
your gold farm, he built this thing. His base is fairly close to spawn.
I would say it's at spawn, considering the lake and kind of what some players'
Yeah,
plans
in
are
the
for it.
river, the ravine or river or whatever you want to call it there between the mountains. And yeah, absolutely. And he built this thing way up in the air out of cobblestone, just so ugly. The blocks. He didn't build it right the first time. He had it on the wrong side.
He made himself a death chamber because his bed, he set his spawn at his bed, and then the gold farm, like the zombie pigman got out and he just kept dying.
Now, Little C, I just want to point out, you kind of wish I would have made a 500 build limit that you had to get 500 blocks away from spawn again now, don't you?
Nope, I really don't.
Okay.
I just think there should be, I don't know, I just want him to build his gold farm underground. You know, we had to change the render distance on the server. I'm blaming it all on his gold farm. That's the sole reason we had to lower the render distance.
Because it was too ugly from spawn and you could see it.
It was so ugly that the server used more resources.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I did have to change our view distance.
Also, for any new listeners, we're allowed to troll him. We know him in real life.
That is right. He is a friend of ours in real life. At least we say the word friend. Let's put it that way. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about what we want to talk about there, Little C.
So as I've already mentioned, I didn't play a huge amount of Minecraft this week. I did play around on the snapshot for Java because they changed the UI, and I saw a few people, oh no, get the pitchforks out. They changed the UI. I loaded it up and I'm like, this is the best UI change they've ever done because it kept the good feel of the Java UI. It still felt the nice premium kind of older Minecraft style without the dirt background. It makes it look more modern. And also the the blur when you open the pause screen is great. I'd love to see that move to the inventory and UI in general. When you're in a UI, it blurs around it. I think that would be cool. The type of blur it is annoys me though. It is a box blur, which makes, if you know anything about like Photoshop or anything, you'll kind of understand that. It just doesn't look as good as like a smooth glazed across blur.
I have to tell you, Little C, every time I've seen Java Edition, my first impression on the menus with that dirt block background, to me, it looked like something I used to create back in the 90s on a Macintosh computer. It was just so not nice looking.
I liked it only for the nostalgic factor of the dirt background.
And I totally understand that. That's what you grew to love.
But I think this is better. I'm glad they didn't change all the UI, though. I'm glad they didn't change like the button style and like the menu style and stuff like that.
I do wonder if they are going to get to that and they just started with this.
I hope
guessing
they do
they're going to merge.
They need
just
to make
like Bedrock changed their UI quite a bit.
Bedrock should change their UI to have the same style as Java, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going to meet somewhere in the middle, would be my guess.
I think Java is already in the middle, though, because they kind of added the blur, like the panoramas and stuff.
I'm just happy to hear that you actually liked it. I assumed we were going to get all this uproar from you Java players.
So I saw a few
of a change.
I saw a lot of people that are like, whatever, I won't notice that they changed it. And then I saw a lot of players who were like, this is great, but there were a lot of people who were like, why'd you change this? This is the worst thing since the warden killed me in my hardcore world. And I'm like, maybe it's like they could have done a few things better. This is still a snapshot. They'll still take your feedback. They are getting better about taking feedback. Because for a while, a few years ago, they would see feedback and they'd be like, no. I think recently they're starting to actually listen to the community more, at least from what I've seen. So give them your feedback if there's something you don't like about it. But I think it is overall better.
And we'll get into that a little bit in the changelogs. That's where it came out and everything. Overall, I think it's good that I think we're going to meet somewhere in the middle with the Bedrock and Java. The closer we can come together as a community, I think the better overall will be. Some of it can be fun, right? Oh, Bedrock's better, Java's better. Just play the game. The game is awesome. It's Minecraft. Let's just all agree that we love Minecraft. Can we just do that?
You all are forgetting about the greatest version of Minecraft of all time, Nintendo DS.
Nice.
That is not the best version. It is so weird how they ported that.
It is. I actually really like Legacy Edition stuff on the
Legacy is good.
console.
Hey, I'm just saying, Legacy UI is Java UI for like the main menu. I'm just saying. Just putting that out there.
But they didn't have the dirt background back then.
That is true. I didn't really like the dirt background. I just think the buttons and stuff on Bedrock should change.
Honestly, that's the first thing I saw when I saw this new Java UI. It looks like the Legacy Edition UI to me.
Which is good because most Legacy players, when Bedrock came around, most of them either got a computer and started then playing on Java, or they played Bedrock. But
Right.
a lot of people went to Java.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things about that I liked. And I understand as a Redstoner, I kind of like that. What is it called? Quasi connectivity.
Yeah. Wireless.
Something kind of cool about that.
It is cool, but if you're just getting into Minecraft and trying to learn Redstone logically, if you don't watch videos and you're just trying to play with it, it's not
Bedrock
doesn't make
makes
sense.
more sense.
Yeah, which
It
I actually
absolutely
like
does.
Bedrock Redstone, but I'm not a Redstone guy at all. I'm happy when I got my lights, my Redstone lamps to turn on and off with the lever.
There you go. Speaking of Redstone, I've been working on my auto sorter. Go figure.
It's about time. You didn't have one last season.
I know.
And the season before, you only started building it.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to finish this one. I've got, right now, I have one row completely done, and it's a row of 53 items. Total, I'm going to have 4 rows is where I have it set up, which will put you at, can you do quick math there?
I wasn't listening.
212
There we go.
items for that section.
That's what I was thinking, guys. Listeners, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
I'm smart. Totally.
And I decided to dig out another section because this is all happening at Y level 41. So it's just above the main floor is. Then I'll have bulk storage underneath that basically. But I should be able to double that up. So that puts me at, quick math here, little C.
I still wasn't listening.
424. 424 items. I think that should do me okay. Individual items.
This is a good thing I'm not a listener. Like, I heard the sound of you saying the number, but I didn't hear the number.
That's okay.
It's weekend. It's Friday. I'm done with school. No more numbers, please.
The biggest problem I'm having with this sorter, because I'm doing it differently than I've done it in the past, I've always just dealt with some items skipping. I did it with a repeater, basically, and doing the old
older
school way of doing it. Well, now I'm using a target block and glass. The hardest thing is getting enough wheat for the hay bales.
Oh, yep.
For the target blocks. It's taken me forever. So now I'm starting to feel like I'm HolyBookworm. I'm just farming this whole time and making these giant fields of wheat.
A while on Bedrock, people would do some piston thing with
you can do pistons.
Sorters. I don't like that idea because what I've seen with pistons on Bedrock, they're goofy, laggy. Like, they're weird.
You do the piston, but then you use obsidian or some other unmovable object.
So it does a tick, kind of, just so it reads a signal.
Redirects the redstone, basically, right? And that's what shuts off then your redstone torch. That allows the hopper to unlock, so it sucks one item down. That's how all this works. So I'm using target blocks. I've decided that is a pain to get wheat fields that big. I need to just take over this huge plains or something and just do the whole thing. But in this, I did realize I have my iron farm going, by the way, and it's working very well. It's pumping out iron like crazy. And also poppies, I totally forgot, because I'm an old school player, that you can take the poppies, put them in composters, and make bone meal.
Wait, what?
And the bone meal
I forgot about that.
Then makes your wheat grow.
I totally forgot about that. And I have tons of poppies too with my iron farm. But I've been composting kelp and a lot of like leaves and stuff that I get. I've been composting those. And I didn't think about poppies.
Yeah, and the seeds from the wheat, right? After you replant it.
You're not just keeping all the red dye? You don't need
Yeah, I don't need the
mountains
red
of red dye.
dye for anything. And there's so many ways to get red dye anyways. You really don't need them. But so I've been doing that. And that's where a lot of my time has gone when I'm in game and digging out this huge area and all this. I'm just happy I got one whole row done. Originally, I was just going to make the 4, and that's probably what I'm going to start with and start sorting at that point. I also need to decide which block I'm going to use or which item I'm going to use as a filler and then rename it.
Diamonds.
That would be a crazy filler. That would be. I totally could do it though, because you don't need that many.
Netherite.
No,
ingots.
I'm not. That's not
Netherite
happening.
blocks. Wait, no. Beacons.
Beacons.
Just
That's
use nether
hilarious.
stars. There you go.
No, I'm not that rich.
I'm trying to think of what's something easy to get. I mean, you can use stone. That's something simple.
half slabs then, and then you double
Yeah,
it.
half slabs.
Anything, it really doesn't matter. I always rename it.
Yep.
That way it doesn't get.
I remember back in the day when XP was challenging back on Legacy Edition. Even with mob grinders, they weren't quick. So getting XP to rename those items was a big event in our world. And I remember having a discussion with you. You're like, I don't know, I need more XP. Can you help me? We need to kill the Ender Dragon a few times or something.
Right, and it was a struggle. And do you remember back then, if there was an enchant that cost 30 levels, it would take all 30 levels to get your enchant. It was a lot slower going. There's something to be said about that. To me, it was more enjoyable for the long grind.
It was, but also losing motivation very quickly from trying to get level 30. I lose motivation trying to get 3 more levels to enchant stuff early game.
Yeah, that can happen too, I suppose. That's all I've been up to in game. I can't think of another thing I've done other than work on that sorter and digging out the room, basically. Now, as far as the server goes, we were having nether portals. I clocked this one nether portal. It took me 2 minutes and 26 seconds for me to change dimensions.
Wow.
That is way too excessive. And this just started happening either the last major update, not major, but last update or the one before is when this really started happening. We've had Jericho SMP on a view distance of 32 this whole season. And I think towards the end of last season, we jumped it up. And we haven't had any issues up until recently with the nether portals and everything. So I really wanted to figure it out. I reached out. We still are hosting with Bisect Hosting. Definitely recommend them. Their customer service is awesome. I was with them the other night, working with them. They're like, well, maybe we can change server locations because we recently did that too. We changed from basically the Washington, D.C. area and moved it to Chicago area. And I thought maybe something there happened or whatever. So we went ahead and moved it back to the original location place. Still had the same problem. He had me tested in another world. Same problem, taking forever. He changed the view distance. And guess what? It fixed our problem. Our view distance was at 32 chunks, which is a lot for a server.
Yeah, that's
But we were running it fine
but
this
it
whole
looks so
time.
nice, and I planned my entire base to be at 432.
And it works fine in the overworld, all that, you were fine. We dropped it back down to 16 this week, and it's been so much better. It took that 2 minutes and 26 seconds down to like 12 seconds.
And we may try to slowly bump up the render distance and see what we can do.
Right. We did test that a little bit today. It took a little bit longer, but definitely not 2 minutes. So we need to find that balance somewhere because I'd like to get the view distance up a little bit higher. Like you said, you planned your base around it.
I mean, it wasn't a huge deal. It's just, I kind of made it so if I stood at one block on a separate island where my iron farm is underneath, you could see like where the castle and stuff was going to be.
Right. And we are only on 4 chunk simulation distance still.
Which I think is better for servers especially, because when you're walking through a forest or something, you see mobs and animals a lot more.
Yeah, because everything's despawning really quick and then spawning back. And yeah, it works. It's a lot more busy in the server. When we first started season 2, we had it on 8 chunk simulation distance, and I think we stayed with that for a long time. But we always had complaints. Oh, I can't find animals. I can't find food. I can't find squid, whatever it was. And that's because it was spread out amongst all those chunks, right? So I do like playing, and a lot of the tutorials out there are based around realms, which for a long time could only be 4 chunks. So when you're watching many of these tutorials, that's what they're based on. So it's just easier to have it that, and that's what
For
people
some
are
of our
used to.
players who aren't as, super advanced as us.
That is a balance too, even with the view distance, is we have people on lower end devices playing. They might only be able to max see eight chunks view distance or something. So there is a little bit of an advantage for players like you, Little C, that have a fancy computer that can maximize the 32 chunks. So I don't mind lowering it a bit. I think we'll probably end up right around 20 or so. We'll see how it goes. But that's what I was working on. I worked on that. I really wanted to solve that problem. And me as a server owner, I definitely want to take the time. If there's something I can do to better the experience for the players, that's what I'm going to do. Because I do care about you players. Honestly, I really do. That pretty much sums up my Minecraft week. As far as real life, last week we woke up, had a broken window. I don't know if we talked about this last week on the podcast. I don't think we did. I think this happened, but our sliding glass door we have on our house, woke up, the one side was all shattered, just cracks all the way through.
It is a good representation of what happens to my brain during an algebra test.
Okay, it just shatters.
It just shatters, and eventually it'll just fall apart.
There you go. I think it was the weather change, and we've been here for 13 years, something like that, that we've had the house, the door and windows original from way back in 1990, I think. So never was a problem, but I'm guessing some moisture got inside the window panes, basically. This day, I was in Wisconsin one day and it was like 70 degrees, and it dropped to 20 this week. I think it was something like that
It had to
happened
be,
then
yeah,
too.
it was something with, there was moisture inside of the window pane, I assume, because they're just old windows. That happens. So the moisture got in there. It was nice and warm, so it wouldn't have been a problem at all. And then it got super cold so quickly. Like overnight, it just got really cold.
I just thought we installed a texture pack on our real life window. That's what I thought it was, and was some kind of fancy design on it.
Well, maybe that's what it is. I haven't checked server resource packs. I'll contact God and see if he can remove it.
There you go. That's got to be it. That'll be an easy fix that way. Like I said,
We play too much Minecraft.
Life revolves around Minecraft. Minecraft is life. There you go. This week, I've also been watching, for some reason, a bunch of video game repair videos. I'm kind of
That's
back in
fun.
that mood again. If you don't know, we also own CCR Games, ccrgames.com.
I don't think the website works right now, actually, but
I think it actually redirects to a page on the Block Party.
oh my goodness.
But anyways, we repair video game stuff. So I might get back into that. We've kind of let it go. I haven't repaired things for a while, sold games and buy and sell and things like that. But maybe I can supplement our income in this household a little bit more by doing this, because
I don't think repairing consoles is going to make a lot of money.
the lack of loads out there and what they're paying in real life trucking right now is not good.
I don't know. I played Trucking Sim and got some pretty good rates.
Yeah, I'm definitely struggling in real life in the trucking world. Other than that, I really haven't done all that much this week. Just did my little bit of trucking. Today I drove all day long and didn't even have a load, so I got paid a 0 for that one. But I did make it back here to do a podcast, so there's that.
So this week, I haven't been doing too much. Now, last week, I did talk about building the new computer for church. So this week, I brought the old one home, cleaned it out. It was super dusty. Cleaned it out, and then fixed the issue that was with the Ethernet port. Every time I restart the computer, the Ethernet port would just not work, and you'd have to go into Windows settings to enable and disable it. So I was able to fix that. I had to reinstall Windows, which it kept all the files, but it uninstalled all the programs. So it's not like we're using this computer, but that's a little annoying because I want to fix it on the other one that we're still using.
At least you were able to diagnose what the problem was.
I'm just trying to find a different solution now, which I think
Gotcha.
I can use Windows repair install kind of thing and see if I can figure that out. And then, of course, school. Oh man, it's almost like I'm a student or something.
Yeah, school kind
Kinda
of
just-
takes up your life in teenage years, doesn't it?
Yeah, nothing exciting. I mean, I guess I wrote. This is just how I do school. So I had a month to write a research paper, and I waited about half a week before it was needing submitted just to pick a topic. I wrote the thesis statement and then only wrote half of the first paragraph until the day it needed submitted, and then I wrote the rest of it.
There you go. How'd you do?
I don't know yet.
Oh, well,
Probably not well. I don't know.
That's probably not good. You don't want to wait till the last minute all the time. I do understand, though. They say with age comes wisdom, so I'm just waiting until I'm the wisest to do my work.
There we go. I'm telling my teachers that if I'm ever late on a document.
That's a pretty good one.
I am using this in a court of law. Other than that, I helped HolyBookworm. She got a new computer.
Oh, dude, I'm so jelly of her.
I want to take her graphics card and switch it out with mine.
Yeah,
You
it's
wouldn't
so
notice.
nice. She has a 4060 Ti, not just the 4060, but the fancier one.
Yeah.
And she's got pretty purple on there. Now, you had to do a little extra to get that to work.
So I didn't know it. Actually, it was a pre-built, but it didn't come with the RGB software installed, which I'm actually very impressed by. They didn't add any apps or anything. They just had a fresh install of Windows and a website redirect on the homepage. That's all
Wow.
they installed.
Wow, that's
So
pretty
nothing
good.
there. That's
Especially for the deal you
for
got on that.
pre-builts and stuff. That's really good. So we had to install some drivers and stuff. So if you're definitely new, I could see that being a problem because you had to install some MSI stuff for the motherboard and then some like NVIDIA stuff to get the drivers to make sure they're updating. But if luckily HolyBookworm has a little C
But you didn't buy this from, let's say, Best Buy or
Yeah.
anything. This was
off
a
a Newegg.
Newegg.
From
and,
Ultimate Battle Stations ABS, which is the same one I got my pre-built.
And you actually had some of that bloatware, not bloatware, but some of that software
I did
stuff
have a little
installed on
bit.
yours.
It might be different too because I don't think it's connected to the motherboard the same way because there's not like a normal type RGB controller. But I tried to install the Thermaltake software because that's what the logo on the fans was. So I'm like, oh, maybe that'll make sense. It only changed the RAM stick RGB. But then I installed Signal RGB. It's what I use personally for my keyboard and mouse and all the lights I have. And it worked well. It's a little
Because it
weird.
makes you play Minecraft better.
Obviously, RGB makes you better at games.
Absolutely. And you were able to get it all to work then.
Yes, and
in the fans.
she was so happy when I showed her how to change the color. She's
Good.
like,
So
yay.
she can have the pretty purple that she loves, of course. Now, have you talked her into getting Minecraft on her computer? And is she going to do mouse and keyboard now?
I don't know. She is playing a game, I think, as we speak, with mouse and keyboard.
Is she?
Yeah?
Wow.
And she has to learn some stuff, but she's doing pretty well.
I know she called me because that's how it works when I'm on the road all week. I have to talk to y'all on the phone. Can't do this in real life. I was really sad that I wasn't here for the initial startup of the computer. And
It was
all
actually
that.
a pain because she has a really old monitor, and I had to get special cord and stuff.
Right. But I remember she said she was trying to figure out how to move on the game forward and back and everything. And us gamers, we all know the keys that do that. But she figured it out. Now, the funny thing is,
she told me this.
the
way
way
she
she
figured it out, is cool.
was, well, W means walk, so that must work. And that's how she figured out forward was W.
That I never thought of it that way. I don't think that's how it was intended. That makes so much sense, though.
I'm never going to forget that. I'm hoping she talks about it on her noob corner or something.
W
next
is
week.
walk. That makes sense. I always just think WASD because it's just
Though she will be,
program.
because she's been around me with consoles and stuff. If we can get her set with a nice, maybe miniature kids Xbox controller or
a
something.
miniature kid.
Because she has small hands. She's not that big.
I
She's
don't know. She
small.
seems to be doing pretty well with keyword and mouse on the game.
Okay. If she can get it figured out, then that's awesome. And if we can get her over to playing Minecraft on there and stuff, we might just make a gamer out of her yet.
There's still hope.
There is still hope. All right. Well, that sums up our past week.
Now, the past week in Minecraft, all info from Minecraft.net.
We got a couple of them. I guess their normal day is Snapshots Wednesday and
Yes.
beta previews are on Thursday now.
Beta previews are whenever they get the beta preview out.
So we'll start with a Minecraft Java Snapshot 24W09A. Came out Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Experimental update 1.21. Of course, these require the experimental data pack. Changes. Bogged drops 2 mushrooms, either both red/brown or one of each when sheared. This is kind of cool that you can shear the bogs now and get mushrooms.
It's like the mushrooms. You can shear them and they'll drop their mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly. Updated bog texture and model.
Oh, yeah, and that's something too. When you shear them, it just changes the texture. So they made a separate texture. Instead of them just turning into normal skeletons, like mushrooms turn into cows. Because I think it was IBX Toycat, and he's like, that would be an advantage. That would be helpful in combat if you could, instead of getting poison arrows, you just shear them all, and then they're not poison arrowing you. But that's not how it works. That's how everyone was thinking.
That would be kind of cool.
So they put in a bit more work changing the texture to make the feature better, I think.
I like that. Maybe we should change it so the mushrooms now just change texture and you could keep doing it?
I think it makes less sense for the mushrooms.
All right, keep going with this. Removed randomness from the radius of both breeze and player shot wind charges, so it's less random. That's good. Additional changes to the vault texture to even further distinguish from trial spawners. So they did this last time. They put like this orange bit on the top is what it looked like to me. Now it looks like they put it on the bottom. So they're just trying to figure out what works there. That way you can tell the difference between the vaults and the trial spawners. All right, let's move on to the stable stuff. Still in the snapshot. The changes here, the wolf armor will protect the wolf from most damage sources until the armor loses all durability and breaks. I love this. Wolf armor shows signs of increased breakage as durability goes down. So that's cool. Kind of like a iron golem. You can kind of see how damaged they are. In fact, it's the same basic mechanic, isn't it? Players can repair the wolf armor with armadillo scoots while it is equipped on the wolf. Wolf armor can be dyed in similar fashion to leather armor. So I love that. You get all the colors that way. The wolf's owner can now repair wolf armor on a wolf. The data pack version is now 33. The resource pack version is now 28. All right, let's get into the UI stuff here. And I'm just reading it from their changelogs here. The UI has been updated to sport a fresher look and to be more consistent when it comes to the layout of different UI elements, all while retaining the essence and feel of the old screens. As always, we're eager to hear your thoughts and opinions on further improvements or changes. Let us know what you think over on the dedicated feedback site. And of course, there's a link there. And you can leave your feedback and discuss the new UI over on their Discord channels.
So for all you Java players with your pitchforks, put them down. Put down the fire sticks.
They're not pitchforks, they're tridents.
Okay, put down your tridents and put down your flint and steels. And just go leave some feedback.
There you go.
Leave you some feedback in your book and quill.
Instead of complaining to me about it,
go complain to them.
There you go. All right, let's get into the item stack components. This is kind of a big deal. If you're not into coding or the technical side, it's not huge, but it still will affect you a bit. And they say, we are making some large changes to how item stack specific properties are stored and represented in this snapshot, replacing the current NBT tag with structured components. With such a large change, we deeply value your feedback. Of course, you can share your thoughts on these changes over at the feedback site.
So I don't know about Java coding for packs and stuff, but I've heard that this is closer to Bedrock Edition, and I've heard that it's going to be easier to get into now.
I think it's going to be easier to make things that are being changed on Java to bring them to their new add-on place in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's their motivation behind it. I would assume that makes sense logically, because it doesn't make sense for them to go through and make such a big change without making money.
But even without that, and not being negative or anything, just having a parody of how things are done
is good.
That's a good thing.
And I'm glad to see it's not Bedrock getting the less efficient model, and it's Java getting the more efficient model.
Right. And it is easier to have add-ons and things like that created from people like me that doesn't necessarily have a coding background at all and just wants to have fun with the game in the back end of it. So it is a little easier, I think, with that. All right, let's get into the fixes here. And of course, this is Java Edition, so this is what was wrong, and they fixed it. Tipped arrows stuck in the ground never lose their effect.
Oh, that could be abused.
The fog from lava is much denser when having the fire resistance effect active compared to Bedrock Edition. Extinguishing candle shows inaccurate subtitle. Lodestone compass does not stack after dropping and destroying the lodestone. Items named with an anvil on 1.20.4 don't stack with items named prior. The Realms player list is rendered larger than its visual size. The scroll bar in the Realms player list can no longer be dragged using the mouse cursor. Elements within the list in the experimental feature requirements menu cannot be selected via the mouse cursor. Search field in the social interactions menu not focused by default. Wind charges never despawn. The fall damage reduction for the wind charge is not working. Baby armadillos shouldn't drop scoots when brushed. And of course, many more. Of course, you can get the whole changelog. I always leave a link in our podcast description for that. All right, let's move on to Minecraft Bedrock and Beta /preview 1.20.80.20. This came out the next day on Thursday, February 29th, 2024. Coming soon, and we already spoiled it a little bit.
We already spoiled the changelogs, guys. I'm sorry.
Hardcore mode. This is their statement here. We're excited to say we're working on hardcore mode for Bedrock Edition, and we hope it'll be ready for testing sometime in the spring.
Ooh, it's almost springtime, right?
Yeah, it really is. So we're getting close. Hardcore mode is a subcategory of survival where you only get one life and no chance to respawn. I think I'd enjoy this.
I heard IBX again. He was doing it was a video on the whole changes and stuff. And he was talking about if they'll try to water it down and make it easier for the Bedrock players because they know it's a bit more of a younger audience.
Well, they continue here. Not only that, in hardcore mode, the difficulty is locked to the highest setting. So no more putting things into peaceful so you can move them and then turn it back to hard. Just saying. Then they continue on. With such high stakes, we want to ensure we get hardcore mode right before releasing it into the retail version of Bedrock Edition. So once it goes into testing, it'll stay in preview until we're confident the experience is smooth for both players and creators.
So I'm assuming with this, and this is, again, another idea from IBX, he's like, maybe there'll be more warning labels and stuff of, if you die, you can only spectate your world type thing, because just the Bedrock audience might have more issues than the Java audience with that. To make sure it's clear what hardcore mode is.
Oh, right, exactly. Yep. And you'll be able to help us test hardcore mode by submitting bugs, and of course a link there, and giving them your feedback on Discord or on their website. They continue here. We're also happy to announce when we are ready, hardcore mode will be available in Realms for both Java and Bedrock.
I didn't know you couldn't make a hardcore realm on Java. Because I knew you can make servers and nobody really uses realms on Java.
Right.
But it's cool that you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe when hardcore comes out, maybe I'll make like a video series or something on the YouTube.
You also have to understand where their motivation is behind this stuff. They're trying to appeal to the mass player
I
and
think
not the gamer only people.
for the hardcore mode, I think it's a big marketing thing because if you look in Minecraft YouTube, what's super popular? I survived 100 days in Minecraft hardcore type video. That's the big thing in YouTube. That's still the trend. It has been for the past few years. They want it on Bedrock, so more people see Bedrock on YouTube, so more people play Bedrock, so more people have the chance to click on the marketplace so they can make more money.
And that's part of it. And
But I'm not saying that in a bad
that's
way.
a good
I'm just
thing.
saying
More
they're
money
trying
too,
to get
by the
more
way.
marketing to
And I think
Bedrock.
this is something that a lot of the naysayers have about them making money. If they keep making money, guess what? They're going to keep producing the game and making it
If
better.
they stopped making money, we wouldn't get any updates for the game.
The game would stop. That's essentially what it is, right? So this is a good thing. There is a good balance. That's
Then
how
again,
business works.
We're talking to some of the players that are still stuck on 1.9 or 1.8.9.
Yeah, there is those people. All right, let's keep going here. The experimental stuff here within this, again, we're still in beta and preview stuff. You got to have the toggle on, so don't forget that if you want these changes. Vault hit sound pitch corrected to match Java Edition. Updated Vault visuals. Trial chambers will now be placed in the same location and configuration as Java Edition. And I did see some videos on this. They're identical now. The rooms and everything are identical.
That's good.
Between
I'm glad.
I hope they do that with all the structures, villages, and stuff. That would be amazing.
It would make it so much easier to find good seeds.
Dude, we got to come together as a community. We all love Minecraft. Stop hating on each other. We love you all, as long as you like Minecraft. If you don't like Minecraft, that's a whole nother story.
There's just one guy that's like, Terraria's the game. It's just in the audience for no reason.
Fortnite players.
Fortnite's still a thing?
Yeah, no. All right, let's move on to the stable side of this beta and preview. These features do not require the toggle to be turned on. Known issues. Players are unable to connect to preview realms on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in this version. Wolves wearing wolf armor don't trigger post-damage invulnerability, resulting in the wolf armor being rapidly destroyed by continuous sources of damage, such as lava, slimes, and magma cubes. So they're aware of that. So if you're playing around with this, know that they're already working on fixing that for the next one, probably. Changes here with wolves. Wolf armor has been de-experimentified and is now available during normal gameplay. Wolf armor can now be dyed. Wolf armor now acts as a shield, absorbing most damage directed to the wolf. The collars of tamed wolves are now properly shaded. Wolves' tails are now correctly positioned when sitting. And I think the collars thing, that kind of messed up when they put the armor on. It wasn't lining up correctly. So they fixed that.
I get it that we're getting dog armor, but why can't we have different types of dogs? I really want a Shiba Inu Doge dog. That would be awesome. I want a Doge.
There's add-ons for that. Let's put it that way.
Maybe we need one of those on Jericho.
Yeah,
cough, cough.
That might be worthwhile looking into.
We might.
If it works.
Again.
Some things don't quite work on servers as they would in a single player or even a realm. All right. Move on to armadillo stuff. The armadillo has been de-experimentified and is now available during normal gameplay.
And this is on the
This is beta preview still, not an actual release, so don't get that confused. Breeding cooldown is no longer reset after roll up.
Oh, that could be abused. If you could just constantly keep breeding them, because then you could have major scoop farms.
Yep. Blocks here. Sweet berry bush now drops up to 6 sweet berries when mined using a fortune enchanted tool.
This is interesting, considering didn't they fix it with flowers when you mined flowers with fortune?
I think they're just balancing it out now.
Yeah, because everyone wants more sweet berries. Isn't that what we all want?
Yeah, that's what we got to have, of course. Fully grown cocoa pods now consistently drop 3 cocoa beans. Double slabs can once again be created when stacking 2 of the same slabs together, and many more. So, again,
That's what
check
Mojang's
the
been working
description.
on.
That is what they've
Wow.
been working on.
Good job, Mojang.
They
I'm
have been
impressed.
working. I'm liking these changes. I like the Java UI change. Not that I play Java and don't really care, but I like that the parity and the coding and stuff seems like they're getting closer. Just overall, they're working hard. I love to see it. Thank you, Mojang.
Also, I don't know when this change happened, but if you go back to like, I think 1.19 at least, I know, if you played vanilla 1.19 straight off of the launcher, your frames, even on like my computer, would be low. I played the newest snapshot with no Optifine, no sodium or fabric or anything, and I was getting like 400 frames, which is really good
Wow. That's awesome.
without any client-side performance mods.
That's good. So
So,
they are working on that.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Now it's time for
Listener questions.
Our first question comes from Annie Mae. What is your favorite thing about Minecraft? How involved would you say it is in your daily life?
I don't know if that's a fair question about favorite thing. I love a lot about Minecraft.
Now that I reread this question, I think I read it wrong for my answer. I think I was thinking the second question involves with the first question of what's your favorite thing in Minecraft and how often does it in your daily life of Minecraft
Hey,
playing.
take it however you want. That's the fun thing about this. As long as it gets us talking, right? That's the big point.
Remember, listeners, you gotta dumb down the questions. It's little C and BS you're talking to.
I do have to say my favorite thing to do is probably, you're not going to believe this, auto sorters.
No way! This is shocking! Headline event!
But only because it makes it easier to sort out all the stuff I do when I mine, which I call my mining therapy. I just spend hours mindlessly mining
Or when you
for
fish,
things.
because
Or
you get
fish,
so many
same
things.
thing. And I just love doing that. So having the sorter to put all my stuff in at the end and not even have to think about it, I like that the most, I'd say. As far as how involved I am with my daily life and Minecraft and everything, I think it's become a major part of my brain thoughts overall, just in life. I think about Minecraft a lot.
I think in Minecraft, my brain is just, instead of thinking in like real life, I'll have dreams about real life things that look like Minecraft.
And to be
It's
honest,
weird. We're obsessed.
between having Jericho SMP and now the podcasts and the live streams I'm doing, it takes a lot of time on the weekends, especially for the podcast and the live streams and getting that all done. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love that. And I try to play Minecraft at least once a day. I try to in the evening, not always. Sometimes I'll skip a night like this week I did. Just too tired after driving. But I love playing just a little bit. I don't have a dedicated day or anything. I've been trying to balance it out on the weekend where I have some time to play just without any live stream, without any podcast, just time to play. And a lot of times that does come during the week at the end of the day, but I'm usually tired. So I'm just doing something simple like my mining therapy and don't want to think about stuff.
I find it interesting that when you're live streaming, you can't. It might just be your play style is extremely boring. Like if you don't tweak it a little bit for live stream. But like I find when I'm live streaming, I'm enjoying playing Minecraft a lot more. It might be because I've live streamed so much that the live streaming just comes naturally at this point, and it's actually become quite a weird thing in real life interactions. I'll do something and I'll not force, but I'll change my reaction to something. And if there's like, I did this today on a voice call with real life friends, not streaming or recording or anything. And I said a joke and just subconsciously, I looked at the camera that's not on. I looked at my webcam and just like made a face and kind of like winked, as I said this joke.
Like you're going to zoom the camera in on your face, right?
And I'm like,
exactly.
Oh my gosh, I have live streamed too much.
I will say, I think I'm doing better. I'm much better than my first live stream on here that I've been doing.
You're getting better, but you're still not as good as the master.
Yeah, I You did
still the
every day
Padawan.
for how many days?
150 days in
Yeah.
a row.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Don't do that, kids. Don't do that, please.
You are really good at it anyways. You've been doing it since you were a little kid, though, doing videos and stuff.
And I'm getting back to, let's just say, the new Block Party channel. You'll want to be subscribed.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely got to go find
Now,
that.
if you see it with BS on the screen or something, you can kind of be like,
Hey,
eh.
now.
But if you see Little C, it's going to be good.
All right, let's get back to Betty Mae's question here.
So, yeah.
What's your answer?
I can't pick one favorite thing out of Minecraft. I enjoy building for, like, just an activity in Minecraft. I like building, landscaping, just changing things, I guess, tweaking things. But I'm trying to think of, like, an item or a certain feature, and I think scaffolding comes into play a lot for me. And that's, like, I took this as day-to-day within Minecraft. I use scaffolding almost every day to fix my dang sign at Shopping District on Jericho, because it's observer powered, and those like to break on servers. And I think just in Minecraft in general, observers break, but it's the best way to do this sign. So I have to climb up there with scaffolding every day, break the redstone, and replace it to restart the little observers following around. Or to start the redstone lamps following around.
Yeah, you
so
gotta keep the
there
sign
you go.
going.
This is why I like scaffolding.
So now your real life, you have to log in. You have to stop whatever you're doing in real life just so you can do
fix
that.
the sign in game.
There you go.
There we go.
So that's how much of a part of your daily life.
Yeah, I kind of already commented on how much I've been ingrained by Minecraft.
Absolutely. All right, we got another question here. This came to us actually on the 11th of February via text. So we're starting to catch up a little bit. I love the fact that we've got a whole bunch of these lined up. A lot of questions. We'll always take more. Keep them coming. We try to do 2 a week. This one came from Froggy ZZ. Where did the names BS, Little C, and Holy Bookworm come from?
Well, Bearded Sloth or BS, that's just describing him in real life.
If you look at me,
if you watch his live streams, you'll understand.
Absolutely.
One, he just looks like a sloth, and you just are a sloth.
I am a sloth. A lot of the things I do, I'm not usually moving fast on things. I think things through before I do them.
Now, for the rest of the names, my name in real life starts with a C, and so does yours, BS, your real life name.
So I'm Big C, technically, I guess.
Technically, he's Big C. I'm Little C. So it's kind of just been like a family nickname and stuff with some of it, and then, yeah.
And our names are very similar.
Yeah.
So people
it's funny.
Don't want to get us confused, so
people
they just
mix
call
us
you Little C.
A lot, and it's quite funny. And also, sometimes with just our gamer tags, I've gotten so used to calling you that, I'll use that more than saying, hey, Dad. I'll just be like, hey, BS.
Right,
and
exactly.
So
I call
funny.
you Little C.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before. I have to think what the situation is, where I'm at. Let's say I'm at church. I can't necessarily call you Little C or call Holy Bookworm that. I call her by another name.
Way quicker. If you ever meet, let's say, someone who knows me in real life, if you ever need to get my attention quickly, if you say Little C, I'll hear it. I'll hear it and I'll react quicker
Than your real name.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's funny. And
and we call each other these too. And then Holy Bookworm, if you know her at all, it makes total sense.
She reads a lot, so that's Bookworm, and she knows a ton about the Bible.
And she's striving to be holy. She's trying to follow God and the Bible and all those things. And she knows a lot.
Like a lot.
Oh, yeah. A lot about the Bible and scripture. So that's where that comes from, is Holy Bookworm. Makes sense. I remember when we were trying to come up with a gamer tag for her, and we came up with that, and we all looked at each other. That's perfect. So that's what we went with.
Speaking of Holy Bookworm, now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, Holy Bookworm's Joke of the Week.
What is more amazing than a talking dog?
A spelling bee.
That's actually a pretty good one. And it made you laugh over there.
That's pretty funny.
I like that one. Thank you, Holy Bookworm.
Usually her silly jokes don't, but that one, I don't know what it was about it. It was just unexpected. I'll just say that. I wasn't expecting this joke until I read the show notes. I was like, no, that's pretty funny.
All right, that was a good show. Thank you, listeners, for being a part of it by getting your comments in. Definitely want to do that. We do appreciate you all listening to us every week. Also, if you're loving the show and you want more of this, I mean, why wouldn't you? A great way to support us, no matter what you get or don't get, is by actually subscribing to the podcast. There's a way to do that through our podcast host and everything. Of course, the link's there. But you can help support the show by subscribing to the podcast. Find the link in the description to subscribe. It truly does help us out and is super appreciated. Best of all, though, you will get access to more of us with the After Hours show and all the early episodes of the Block Party podcast. Help us get the word out about the Block Party podcast by telling everyone about the show. Visit theblockpartymc.com.
We want to hear from you. We love your comments and questions. You can join our Discord or email us at contact@theblockpartymc.com.
Thank you for being here. We truly do appreciate it. Make sure to tell everyone, and I mean everyone, about the Block Party, a Minecraft podcast. I'm Bearded Sloth, and now I gotta eat my coffee.
And I'm Little C. Bye.